of journaling about it. Interesting. So that was what the project that I started this morning was picking up. Well, actually, I started with a new character because I couldn't find any of my old saves. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe I haven't played since I got everything installed on here. Part of the problem is that I'll start a new character and then I won't be able to play for a while. And then I have no idea what was going on in that character's life. So I just started a new one. And so I've started new ones constantly.
Right.
So I'm like, if I actually wrote down things about what was happening, then I might actually be able to pick up a character, even if I can't play for a month or whatever, and know what I was doing. So one of the things that I did at Walmart yesterday was look for notebooks. Well, that's why I actually popped into Michael's first and found nothing.
Right.
So when I was at Walmart, I found these cute little composition books that have soft poly covers.
Okay.
That's what they call them anyway. They were 7 by 5 inches, and I could only find 2, and they were hot pink, which that I'm not super into pink, but the size and the number of pages was exactly right, and college ruled, which is not easy to find. And it turned out I did not have any idea how much they were going to cost me because I could not find anything marked for them, but they were 67 cents.
Oh, wow.
I bought the only 2 they had. So I pulled one of those out this morning and I started my new character, and then I decided to write it like a diary. Oh. So I'm kind of writing it as though I am Ramona Rains. I always I did the dice to get a randomized name, but I do alliterative names. So my name is Ramona Rains. And then I put in my personality traits and some stuff. And then I've just been sort of I was trying to sit down and read at the library, but felt compelled to leave for the student center. The university meet and greet. So, sort of trying to put a little bit of the humor of how weird Sims life is. But yeah, so it's sort of I'm kind of keeping track of what's going on in my game, but I'm also sort of doing a little creative writing, maybe. So I don't know. So anyway, that's my project.
Nice.
That I started. Nice. And then I'm actually writing with a pen that I bought from Tokyo Pen Shop. One of the many. They're killing me with all of the they had a new stationery kit come out that I had to get. And then a new character kit was just released on Friday. Had to get. I have no spare money right now because of Tokyo Pen Shop. So yeah, I think I'll be fine, but it's I think I'm actually pretty good with all my basics. But then there was something that is not going to be carried anymore that they still have in their intermediate pen kit. So I ordered the intermediate pen kit and discovered the Pilot Juice Up. I actually bought some Pilot Juice pens quite some time ago, way before I got into this Japanese pen thing. Just because they have cool colors and stuff. But I don't know what exactly is fancy about the gel ink and the Juice Up, but it is so nice to write with. I've gotten a lot of things that are nice to write with. So, and of course, Kimberly, one of the store owners, she seems to have some similar color aesthetic to me, and so there were lots of purple and green and some of those kinds of things in the kit, and so I definitely enjoyed that part of it. But yeah, this Juice Up pen is kind of really nice. So
damn it.
Yeah, I know. So,
I'm a sucker for a really nice pen.
Well, right, and that's kind of the thing that I've kind of got into. It's so for example, when I was working on my Pokedex, I originally was going to use pens in, it's just a plain field notes, little, just one of their plain ones that they sent when I subscribed. And I was going to use pen, but then I wanted to sketch out a little bit of how I was going to lay it out. And so I was doing that in pencil, and I'm this pencil and this paper is a match made in heaven. And so I ended up doing it in pencil. But that's the thing, like sometimes it's the pen and the paper or the pencil and the paper, and I just want to like sit and write, but I have nothing to write. So I had to I had to come up with a semi-creative writing project for myself.
There you go.
So anyway,
you're going to have to like post those on the blog.
But then I would have to type them.
Take pictures of them and scan pictures on and put them on the blog. I think that'll be more effective. See. Yeah, because I want to read some of those. They'll sound like they'll be interesting, but funny.
It could be. The days go fast. I'm already on like day 4.
See, there you go.
Day 4 is a full moon. Got a little weird. Then I had to pause to come record. So I left all the supernatural creatures on. So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should probably get that game. Dang it.
I love Sims 3. I just have not spent hardly any time playing it. I played Sims 1 to death. Like, I played that tons when it, like back in the day. I blame my friend Barb, who for my birthday, we might have talked about this before, but I can't remember if it was on the podcast. She bought me a birthday present of an expansion pack. I didn't have the base game. So I had to go buy the base game in order to play the expansion pack that she bought for me for my birthday. And it's all her fault. So, and I own, I think, pretty much everything from Sims 2, but I don't know if I played that one as much as I did Sims 1, probably just because of like when it happened. And then I really did start playing Sims 3 after it came out, but then I kind of didn't for a while. And it was really annoying having to like, the only way I could play for a while was if I had the disc. And I don't, my MacBook doesn't have a disc player in it. I have one that I can hook up, but, so eventually I ended up buying all the rest of the packs directly from Origin online so that then I can just play it without a disc. So I did all digital codes and stuff so that I don't have to deal with all the discs. But then my MacBook went kablooey. So I got a new one and then I had to reload everything. It took forever. I now have everything digitally backed up on Origin. So I think I can download everything now, so I don't have to do the discs anymore. But if anything should happen to my current MacBook. But yeah, I don't even know if my MacBook can run Sims 4. So I don't know. Maybe someday when I get a new MacBook, I might look into it. But I've heard that it's not quite as open world as Sims 3 is. So
gotcha.
I'm sticking with Sims 3. I've put a lot of money into it, so I should really play it.
Yeah. Speaking of, I should really start getting back into World of Warcraft.
Yeah, me too.
Because the expansion comes out next month.
And I pay my monthly subscription fee for that every month and haven't played in ages.
Yeah.
So,
well, I know I might be on. I'll probably be on July 4th because they always do the fireworks, and that's since I don't go out, I stay in. I watch the fireworks inside.
Oh, I like that idea.
So
I'm going to check that.
Yeah, so I'll definitely be on in the evening. So if you want to do some July 4th playing, we can totally do that.
All right. Sounds good.
Well, we've got about 5 minutes left. I'm trying to keep us down to an hour.
Yeah.
I know. Well, our Pokemon thing went on for like 20 minutes.
We should have cut that down a little. See, I don't have a timer, so I don't have, I'm not really keeping track of the time.
Well, when I my Skype thing, for some reason, it like minimizes, but it keeps it on top. So it's showing that we've been on the call for 56 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So we'll do the organizing data one later and spend more time on that.
I was going to say, I think this was mostly about video games.
It was. So. Which is fine, totally. But I did one thing we didn't get to talk about the last time, and that I actually finished. It was the He-Man comics.
And we didn't talk about reading at all because I still have stuff to talk about for that too.
Right. Well, the He-Man comics, they apparently released, and I got the Kindle versions, and they're on Comixology, I think, as well. But they released all of so when you would buy a He-Man toy, they'd throw in a comic. And I highly recommend watching The Toys That Made Us on Netflix. The He-Man episode, actually, they're all really good, but the He-Man one really talks about how they came up with all this stuff. It's actually kind of funny because they were like, how are you going to let kids know the story? Oh, we're going to make a comic. Like totally pulled that out of his butt. And then the next guy's like, well, they're 5-year-olds. They don't read. He's like, did I say we're going to have a TV show? But they took the comics that came with the toy and they put them all in one book. I don't think they're technically in order when you read them, but it was interesting to see how different, because the comic came first and then like a year later, I think they did the TV show, or 6 months later or something. And it was totally, the book and the TV show at first were totally different stories. So yeah, it was very interesting. And then they've got all of the newspaper ones are in one book now. Then they've got a TV show compendium. So it's like behind the scenes information. And then they came out with a He-Man and She-Ra one. So I got to get the other 3 and start reading them. But I finished the book, the little mini book ones. And that one was pretty interesting to read and see. And it answered some of my questions on like why the Teela character looked like a snake and the cartoon one did not. So
okay.
Yeah. So I recommend it.
Okay.
What have you had reading stuff?
So I recently read, actually last weekend was kind of weird. I sat down, I started a book on Thursday night, like the Thursday before that weekend. I read a little bit, or maybe read a little bit on Friday, but my online book club was going to be discussing it on Tuesday. So I sat down on Saturday, and other than drifting off to sleep, because that's the thing that happens when I sit in my house on my comfy couch reading.
Yep.
I read all day on Saturday.
Wow.
And then, yeah, and it was like I want to say the book was about 420 pages or so. And I still had some to finish on Sunday because at some point I had to go to bed. But I had some, because I went to the movie on Sunday. So I actually had to like leave my house, so I didn't quite get it done before I did that, but I actually finished it on Sunday. It's like I read a book in a weekend.
Wow.
I mean, that used to be normal for me, but just with all the other things that I'm doing and into and whatever, sometimes it's hard for me to actually do that. But the book was The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. I actually picked it as my book of the month pick back in February, so I was really happy when my online book club was going to be discussing it, because I'm like, I already own that.
Right.
Awesome. It's set in Alaska, which I really liked because, I might have family there, and I've been there a couple of times. So, and it turns out that most of it is based near Homer, and I've been on that peninsula at least before.
Right.
not in Homer, but I've been like in Seward and Kenai Fords National Park and stuff, which is not terribly far from Homer. So it's kind of cool to read a book set in a setting that I'm familiar with, although it's historical. So it's based in the 70s and 80s. So, but yeah, some people don't really enjoy the writing. I did not have any problem with the writing. I just flew through that book. And really enjoyed it. It's not an easy book. It's got some hard topics, but yeah. But I did that. And then I think part of what got me out of the reading slump, or I'm not sure if I'm totally out of it, but I'm doing better, was that I started rereading Harry Potter. And I've been meaning to do it for a long time. I don't know if I've actually ever reread Book 7. As I've started to reread a couple times and I never get that far. So I've been meaning to for a long time. I heard about a podcast, probably on another podcast, called Harry Potter and the Sacred Text. And they have an interesting approach. So they discuss one chapter per episode, which is weekly. They started, I want to say roughly almost 2 years ago, maybe, with book 1, of course. So basically I would read a chapter and then listen to that episode of that podcast. And I don't think that they treat it as sacred text like they think it's equal to a religious text or anything like that, but sacred in the sense of it's an important book to you, that kind of thing. So, but they do sort of use some spiritual practices to sort of approach the text and think about the text, and they have a theme for each chapter. So like friendship or loyalty or love or whatever, that they're sort of looking for that theme in the chapter. The episodes are about, I want to say, roughly half an hour-ish long. They're shorter for me because I listen at 1.5 speed. But it's been kind of interesting, and it's been kind of making me think about the books a little bit more than just reading through them and enjoying them, to actually giving them some thought and stuff. There are definitely spoilers for future books in them, though, so I don't recommend it for people who haven't read through the whole series. But if you've read the whole series before, it's actually interesting